Most men dress to blend in, but confident men, they dress to stand out. If you've ever wondered what it takes to turn heads without saying a word, you're in the right place. Let me show you the 7 things only confident men dare to wear. Number 1 on the list is a bomber jacket. Now, for you clothing historians out there, I know there is a difference between a bomber jacket and a flight jacket. A bomber jacket is a variation of a flight jacket. Flight jackets include everything from A1 jackets to A2 jackets, B3 jackets, B6 jackets, and even G1s. Yes, gentlemen, this jacket was designed in the 1930s for the Army Air Corps, and they wanted a jacket that pilots could fly at higher altitudes at. The current A1 jacket just wasn't good enough, wasn't meeting the standards they need, and so the A2 jacket was created. Bomber jackets are casual. Even in military circles, they are casual, especially if you've got patches on the jacket. And just a little bit of history. On the left-hand side, you would usually have, are you in the United States Air Corps? Historically, are you in the Navy? That would be over here. And then over on the right, you would have the patches of the squadron. Now, the Air Force, the Chair Force, you guys would actually change it out depending on what squadron you're at. You know, I'm making fun. I love the Air Force, air power. The Navy, on the other hand, they would actually stack the patches depending on what squadron you're with, because every couple of years, usually you're switching squadrons. So on a Navy flyer, you would often see a series of patches going down. But in general, gents, anything you wear a bomber jacket with is going to be a casual outfit. So you're wearing it with a dress shirt, you've got some gray flannels, you like the look and the combination, that's fine, but it is going to bring down the formality level of the outfit. I like wearing it with a Henley, with a t-shirt, maybe with a long sleeve, t-shirt. Have something underneath that is relatively light, because that's when I think a bomber jacket looks really well. And these are going to be thick, they're going to be warm, they come in different styles, but understand this isn't really like a negative 30-degree winter jacket. For that, wear a parka. So to be specific, yeah, in general, I consider bomber jackets lightweight jackets, and there's nothing wrong with having lightweight jackets in your wardrobe, especially those of you guys out in California, maybe down in Texas. Yes, I know occasionally in Texas it gets below freezing and you guys aren't ready for it. Come on, I grew up in Midland. I get it, but no, this type of jacket is going to look great, especially just simply when you can throw it on, look good, feel good. Oh, and if you spend a lot of time commuting, this is a great jacket as well because of the elastic. It keeps the jacket out of the way. When you get into the vehicle, you get out of the vehicle. I actually like, be able to show off the watch. Yeah, it's just a good overall style and fit. Number 2 on the list is a fragrance and a mistake that every man makes. They blindly use a fragrance without first having tested it. And I know this because I made this mistake with tobacco vanilla. I was in Lenox Mall with Aaron Marino and we're having a great time. And I'm like, I'm going to go try a whole bunch of fragrances. I was just starting my journey. I put on some tobacco vanilla, actually quite a bit of tobacco vanilla. We were driving around in his car. He made me stop. He's like, you got to get out and wash some of that stuff off. It was way too powerful. I mean, I probably sprayed on like 5 times because, it was free. I was just a sample. Guys, test drive it before you actually commit to a full bottle or wearing it in public. And you can also get the exact opposite. Like right here, Milsim Imperial by Creed. I absolutely love this fragrance. Beautiful. But I could spray this on 15 times and it's maybe going to last 3 to 4 hours and I'm going to get maybe a foot of projection. So there are some great fragrances out there that are smell amazing, very expensive, but yeah, you may not get much projection or much push off them at all. I like to be discovered, not announced when I walk into a room. Even if I've got one of my favorite fragrances right here, PDM's Carlisle. I absolutely love this during the winter, but I have made the mistake of putting on too much. And guess what? When you put on too much, you overwhelm people, especially if they're stuck in a car with you. If you're going to be flying on an airplane, I mean, you got to think of others. If you work in an office environment and there is a no scent policy, which by the way is stupid because everything has scent. I mean, literally you can't walk in. Your body naturally has a scent. That being said, I get where they're coming from. They don't want, to give people migraines, and you got to be careful of putting on too much. For me, in general, I find that 1 to 3 sprays in the chest area, if I'm at all concerned, if it's a new fragrance, that is the most I'm putting on. And again, this is in the chest area. I'm putting clothing over it, so that's even helping to mask it. And I like enough, though, for it to last. Sometimes 1 spray, though. Right here, Carlisle, I can get away with 1, maybe 2 sprays of this because the atomizer is good and it's a strong fragrance. Acqua di Gio, the new EDP right here, this maybe 5 sprays, especially during the summer. It's going to project a bit more. Usually I'm wearing short sleeve shirts. I find that I absolutely love this one. But again, if I'm going into an interview, maybe 1 to 2 sprays in the chest area, and that is it. Now, specifically, where to apply on the body. I know I've talked about spraying in the chest area multiple times. For me, that's my go-to area. If I want to project a bit more, I'll spray once on each wrist, maybe 2 times on the chest, so a total of 4 sprays. If I'm going with, Sauvage Elixir right here, which is really strong, 1 spray in the chest, half a spray on each of the wrists. Again, you got to know what you're putting on, have practice wearing this. Other areas, the back of the neck. This is really great if you want to leave a trail, basically a sillage. Sillage is basically the scent trail that you leave. Projection is how it pushes off. So sillage is really nice if you're going to be at a bar, if you're going to be at an event, and you want women turning their heads saying, wow, that guy smells amazing. That back of the neck is great. Also in the hair. I know some people are concerned about it drying out the hair. I feel this is relatively small, and the hair just does a great job of holding the smell. If you're wearing short sleeve shirts and you're putting on a bit more, it's a relatively weak fragrance. I find on the arms as well is great. The next item on the list that only confident men can wear is a necklace. Now, I know a lot of you guys think, oh, I'm immune from fashion. It has no effect on me. Guys, nobody is immune from fashion. It's very difficult for people to stand out. My point here is if you grow up in a family where all the men wear necklaces, if you grow up in a culture where the majority of men wear necklaces, if you're at a school where it seems like everyone is wearing a necklace, understand that you are more likely to start wearing a necklace. There's nothing bad about this. In fact, it's kind of fun to change things up and it can develop your own personal style, but just be aware that we are affected by our surroundings. You look around, the majority of men they don't even own a necklace. They're not thinking to wear one. They're scared to show it off. So if you've got the confidence to be able to pull this off, to be able to look good wearing this necklace, you understand a little bit about, aesthetics, and we'll get into the details, all the different types of necklaces. Point being, this is a way to peacock. This is a way to stand out from the crowd and to be able to separate yourself from everyone else out there. And maybe it's a great conversation starter. It at least is something, again, to set you apart from the pack. So now let's get to the section of how do you wear a necklace and look good. So the first thing I want you to think about is your body size and the proportions and the size of the necklace. Because I get it, that necklace may have emotional meaning to you, but if it's way too large, is this something that's really going to look good on you? I get it, you love it, but that chain may look better just framing it and keeping it in the office. But seriously, gents, if you are a taller, if you're a bigger guy, you can wear larger necklaces. If you're going to be a smaller guy, if you have a more petite frame, then in that case, you definitely want to wear something that's going to work with your body build. Number 4 on the list are boots. Boots make you more attractive is a phenomenon in psychology called the mere exposure phenomenon. And this is because women in general, I'm making big generalizations here, are more familiar with fashion. They spend a lot of time looking at their shoes. They are going to look at your shoes. And therefore, when they see a man in a great pair of boots that look good, all of a sudden it's like, hey, I understand how much work and effort goes into looking good, and I give him points. I recognize him for that. Tied right with that is you come off as stylish, as somebody that cares about their image and understands the secret code of people that understand, yes, we should not judge a book by its cover, but we do it all the time. Women are judged all the time. And it's nice for them to see a guy that understands this principle and that actually puts forth a bit of effort and tries to put his best foot forward. Now, there was no pun intended there, but yes, literally you are putting your best foot forward. Now, if you're looking to level up your style, you really need to check out my free community over on School. I've set this community up so we've got free classes that you can make your way through step by step and learn the basic foundations of men's style. And I have to say, the men that are in this group are friggin' awesome. We've got a no a-hole policy. People treat each other with respect. And what we've managed to create in this community is a place where a man can come in and ask questions and get some solid advice. So gents, use the link in the description of today's video. Go check out our free communities on School. These are for you to become the man you know yourself to be. Next up, gents, are my favorite polo shirts. I do find that layering a polo, and we can talk about that, you need to know how to layer a polo properly. One of the biggest mistakes I see guys make is they don't experiment. They don't have fun. They only wear the polo by itself, maybe with shorts or a pair of chinos. Guys, there are so many ways to dress it up and dress it down with other items in your wardrobe. Seriously, dressing up with a sports jacket, as you can see it, I'm doing it in this video. I went with brown. I find that it works. So, and again, you've probably got already some sports jackets in your wardrobe. That's why I recommend when you go with the polo, go with a simple solid color when you're starting off. White is easy to match with pretty much anything, but I could be wearing a white polo right here. In fact, Boom, as you can see, brought in a white polo. Instantly, we get a higher contrast. It pops. And what's nice about this is white is going to be one of the more formal colors. So you could even wear this with a suit. You can go wear it with a casual suit. You can wear it with a blazer. Tons of options here. A sweater vest, yeah. Sweater jacket, a safari jacket, even a trucker jacket. The options are endless. Sweaters are another great option, especially during the colder times of the year or maybe in the evening. And what's nice about this, they're incredibly comfortable. Throw a jumper right over that polo. You've got the neck showing, crew necks. You can go with a V-neck. Any of these look great, maybe even a cardigan. Because I think a big mistake a lot of guys make when they're going out there and they're buying a polo is they go with something that's too loud, something maybe that's too bright, has too distinctive of a pattern. And the problem with a polo shirt like that is it's not going to be versatile. It's not going to be interchangeable with most items in your wardrobe. That's why I say keep it simple. Go with a solid color that you're already wearing this in your dress shirt. Because guess what? If you've got a lot of dress shirts that are white or light blue or dark blue, you probably have jackets that already match that. So it's going to fit naturally into your wardrobe. Next item, gents, is something I have been talking about for years now, scarves. When you're starting off with scarves, I get it. Maybe it's something new. You want to bring it into your wardrobe. You want to go with a classic gray. I like gray. It's a non-color that is going to match pretty much anything. And if you're wearing it with clothing that already has color, then yeah, this makes sense. It's a functional accessory. I do like a scarf though that has two colors right in here because you can change it up. Even the little bit of contrast right here makes this a little bit more interesting. And again, you can have fun with this scarf depending on how you fold it, depending on the knot that you go for. But yeah, bringing in a scarf like this, which not only, I mean, it's relatively a thicker scarf as well, but this pattern right here, not only is this warm because it's, again, first functional, but this color just allows me to have a little bit more fun with, bringing it in and just simply pulling it off with my outfits. Now, if you want to get away from the function, you can actually bring in more decorative scarves. And you're going to find these are made from a variety of materials, from linen to silk to sometimes polyester. This one right here has a very subtle pattern. Got a paisley in there, just absolutely beautiful. Now, scarves like this, if tied properly, can look great and to a degree protect the neck, but they're not going to have the same insulating properties as wool, as cashmere, as maybe mohair. And let's talk about those different fabrics and why you would want to choose them. So for the guy just starting off, I'm going to highly recommend that you stick with wool. It's relatively easy to find and it's got great insulating properties, not only when it's dry, but also when it's wet. So if you're sweating, it's going to absorb the sweat and it's going to actually keep you warm. Wool has this really unique property that it can absorb almost its full weight in basically water and it still feels dry. Now, a drawback with wool is you have to take care of it. You can't just throw this into the washing machine. That's going to end up ruining the scarf. It can also be a little bit pricey depending on where you buy them. You will find blends, and blends are interesting. If you find something you like the feel of it, nothing wrong with going with it. Now, what about polyesters? What about synthetic materials, flannels and things like that? I think that they are fine, especially if you are a man on a budget. Now, long term, and usually the styling of them isn't going to be as nice unless you go with a solid color. The feel, people can tell if it would go up, that it isn't a wool or a cashmere or anything like that. But I think from a functionality perspective, they do serve a great purpose. And if you want to own a variety of scarves, again, you've got a really tight budget, I think that it's perfectly acceptable to have a man-made fiber scarf. Now, what about cashmeres? What about mohairs? So these are going to be higher end. And oftentimes, again, you're going to see them blended with wools, but they're just going to cost more. They aren't going to have any better insulating properties than wool. Maybe they're just going to feel a little bit softer. They're going to be more exclusive. You'll find a lot of high-end brands start to bring in really unique patterns and looks that other people pick up on. So for a status symbol, I do see why some people pick them up and why they love them, especially if you're into fashion. And again, if it's just something you enjoy, you really find one that, hey, yes, it costs 3 times more than just an average wool, but you really like the pattern, you're going to wear the heck out of it, then go for it. I've talked about, my style theory of value. And this is, how does something when you wear it make you feel? And then take that cost, and when you divide it by the number of wears, you may find, because if you wear this thing for 5 years, almost every day during the winter, you're going to get more than your money's worth out of it, versus a scarf that, just is a bit itchy, you don't really like, and you rarely ever wear, that you spent, yes, 1/3 as much, 1/4 as much, but you never felt good in it. And the final item that goes under the radar is the wristwatch. Fashion, took over here and we saw the watch for, coming in still today is a fashion item. Anyone that wears a watch today to tell time, yes, you can do that, but that's not the primary purpose. I've got a cell phone, I can check, get it more accurate time through there. No, this is a status symbol. It's also something that carries a story, something that many people it's enjoyable to wear a watch. It's a great accessory piece. It's something that works great with outfits and even enhances them. And that's why men started to wear them and they continue to wear them. The function is nice, but the fashion is really why they've stuck around. I just love the fact that I own something that is kind of the apex of when it comes to watches, the best of the best. That being said, nothing against $100, $200, $300 watches, especially when you find something like, you go with a Seiko, you go with an Orient, you go maybe even with a micro brand, tons of them out there. And I love these micro brands because you buy from people and you understand they're trying to get these up off the ground. Are they always the best quality? Not always. Is it something that you're going to be able to pass on, these $100 watches? Actually, in some cases, yes. And that's the thing, is go out there and find what you want. Look at your budget. Look at what, maybe I know people that have always wanted a Rolex. And in that case, if you could earn the money, if you can put yourself in a position, why not go for it? All right, gents. So what video to watch next? Well, boom, I got you covered with this one right here. Oh yeah, check it out. Boom, right there. Click it. Come on, click.